Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. The Ethereum chart is coming down as per this accelerated downside wave count, or this corrective count basically. So as you know, we've been looking for the price to get closer to the orange support region. I mean, the faster that happens, the well, I would say normally the better, okay, because then we can get this correction done a little bit faster. But we don't want it to come down too fast so that it's impulsive. So we'll see how that all develops. At the moment, I'm still leaning to the idea that we are coming down here in an ABC structure. We could have just started the C wave actually. I will move the support region a little bit to the left because it's happening quite quickly, and we have now reached the first level of this support region. So it's good to see that we're getting there, okay? That was the idea that I mentioned already. When was that? Yesterday, a couple of days ago, that we're most likely in this wave 4, and we are most likely heading into, on our way to test this orange support region. Minimum expectation, 3,522. Ideal support level at 3,210, which is the 38.2 retracement level. Deep wave 4. Basically the maximum it should do at $2,977. This is the wave 4, which is a corrective pattern, which is correcting this third wave rally that started on the 23rd of January. This is my perspective, about this chart. My perspective is that we're now just correcting in a wave 4 this move up. Now, some people might be shocked that we're coming down quite aggressively here, which we definitely are doing, but it kind of makes sense. Let me just delete those lines, we don't need them. Which kind of makes sense because the wave 2, as you can very clearly see, was a so-called sideways correction, a flat structure. Now I have taken the subwave structures out because we don't really need them, but you might remember it that this was a W, X, Y structure, a so-called running flat. It often is the case that the wave 2 is usually a sharp correction. So the wave 2 is typically, it's so-called zigzag correction. So a so-called just a correction that produces a very clear price low, and we would then normally see it rally from there. Here in this case, it's different. This was a sideways correction. These normally don't appear in a wave 2. Well, it's not in, they do appear in a wave 2, but more often you would see those sharp corrections instead of sideways corrections in a wave 2. For example, if we go a little bit further in the ETH history, you can see this wave 2 was quite sharp. This was also rather sharp. It was certainly not a sideways correction. But then this wave 2 is clearly a sideways correction. And you might ask why I mentioned that. Well, if you are a little bit familiar with Elliott Wave, then you might know about the guideline of alternation. Okay, anybody who's not familiar, that's fine as well. What does it mean? It means that in a wave 2, if the wave 2 correction is a sharp correction, then the wave 4 is often a sideways correction. So if the wave 2 is sharp, like a zigzag correction, they call it, then the wave 4 can be a triangle pattern or a so-called flat correction, which moves rather sideways. If the wave 2, however, is sideways oriented, then the wave 4 is often sharp. So I just want to mention that because it could, just in case some people are scared about, how red these candles are. And I mean, it's just what they do, right? It's just, there is no uptrend without pullbacks, and without pullbacks, traders who paid themselves on the way up cannot get back into the market. So we need those pullbacks to complete corrections. That's currently what's happening. Different wave counts apply here. I mean, I have labeled this now as an ABC structure. An ABC of an A wave, then this could have been a very, very shallow B wave. And then as you have done, I posted it earlier today on Discord for channel members to say that this move up is corrective. So I don't see a very clear path to new highs from here, and it's expected that this weekend we're going to continue with a correction. Now, if that means ongoing sideways action or move down, we'll see. But obviously we're going down and we're heading closer to that support area. As I said, the ideal target normally for such a wave 4 is the 38.2 retracement. And yeah, I mean, we'll see where it now takes us. But if this is the correct count, basically A, B, C in a larger A wave, and this was a very shallow B wave, where would the C wave take us? We take the length of the A wave for that to measure that. Then we go to the high of the B wave. And the 100% extension level would be the first real level to watch, like the first target. And that points us to $3,315. Now, I could always be wrong about the micro count here, because such a shallow B wave is somewhat unreliable. It's also possible that this is forming a complex like W, X, Y, X, Z structure. If that's the case, we might not even come down that much. We might only test the 61.8 extension or the 78.6. I want to just provide you with a few levels to watch even within this larger orange support region. And they start at 3,500 and 3,414, 3,315 and so on. Whereas I think that if we really come down, then so 3,315 would be an ideal level where, at least a bounce could occur. I mentioned it a few times that from a psychological point of view, I'm focusing on downside because we're clearly in a downtrend now. I see it, however, as a corrective pullback in an overall uptrend, but I focus on further downside until I see evidence that this move down is over, like a first 5-wave pattern to the upside, followed by a 3-wave pullback, and that first 5-wave pattern ideally breaks above resistance, and ideally it breaks above the B wave high at $3,805 to suggest that a low has formed. That's my update about Ether. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.